Once I had a foundation in sobriety, I found myself really acting out sexually a lot. I developed this pattern where I would meet a woman and become infatuated with her. And I would pour on the charm. And then, like, once she fell for me, then, I would just ghost. Not only was I not treating them the way that I want to be treated, I was actually treating them specifically the way I most fear being treated myself. I promised myself I'm not gonna act out anymore. And I just couldn't. It was just an endless cycle of shame.
This episode of What's Underneath Masculinity is made possible with the support of BetterHelp.
If you want to start therapy, give BetterHelp a try and head to betterhelp.com/whatsunderneath for 10% off your first month.
I just want to begin by just really thanking you for being here. For most people, it's not an easy ask, but I know for you, it's maybe a little bit easier, and this is why we're so excited to have you here.
More difficult than one might imagine. I'm going to be very self-conscious about my figure, but I'm not letting that hold me back.
Can you just begin by talking about how you're feeling right now?
I'm feeling like every day a new part of my body is complaining. It's relatively new to have pain and discomfort without an injury causing it. I hate to say this, but I feel fragile. I feel fragile because I have a fear of my deteriorating appearance making me unlovable. I feel that I won't look as good as I once did. And that's okay, man. I'm gonna rock it.
Can you take off maybe the glasses first and then we'll do the jacket next?
Okay. I am tempted to see if I can balance them.
Wow.
Here we go. Cool. Yeah, it's something I learned in clown college.
Can you talk a little bit about what your style says about you?
For the most part, my style says that I do all my shopping at Target, with the exception, of course, of this cool jacket, which I picked up at a thrift store in, I think, Michigan. I don't like to be flashy in general. I derive my self-esteem and my pride and all the ego stuff from what I do, not what I have. And I'm really into what I do. Like, I want people to think I'm badass. So, like, the one thing I like about cold weather is I get to wear this baby.
Can you talk a little bit about the assumptions that you think people make about you based on your appearance?
My father said, the world is full of people, dumb people, who try to look smart and fall on their ass. He says, Steve, I think, is actually really intelligent, but he does a great job of looking stupid. And I think that's why he's been successful. Because it was always like a really guarded secret almost, that I wasn't so dumb.
Why do you think that you wanted to make yourself look stupid?
It was very clear to me that I was not very well equipped to keep a normal job. Just like lacking the basic survival skills to navigate the world. I dropped out of college and I just thought, oh man, like, I'm gonna become a crazy famous stuntman. And everybody who I told this plan to felt genuinely sorry for me. Like, it was just a tragedy, what a loser I was. No plan B, no net to fall on, and I just went for it. One thing I really loved was the video camera, and I thought, if I really videotaped crazy enough stuff, then that video footage would outlive me. So the video camera was like a religion for me. This was like my afterlife. This was immortality. When I was attending Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College in 1997. And I was in this marine biologist's apartment, just drinking, and I told her, we're all gonna die, we're all gonna be dead. But I've got these videos that are gonna live forever. She said, you know what, how about this? If I do my job and a fish nibbles on a coral reef that I was able to preserve, I'm still alive. I live forever. It's just not all about you. So everybody's got their own way to have a legacy and to affect change. And mine is just particularly self-absorbed and ego-driven. And that's okay.
Can you talk about the biggest insecurity that you're working on overcoming or maybe recently have worked on?
One that I've really made a lot of progress with has to do with my pursuit of a career in stand-up comedy. When I decided to do that, I was not necessarily welcomed into that world. Like, did it feel good to be rejected? No. But did I turn around and say fuck everybody and put it out by myself and find success doing that? Yeah. And ultimately I put together this whole show called The Bucket List. At that point, I finally felt like I belonged on a stage performing comedy. I'm not waiting for permission from some asshole in a suit to greenlight my project and give me a budget, and that's the digital revolution, which is a double-edged sword. Like, every piece of content just has right on there, public facing, like how well it performed. And it's so tricky to not get tied to that with your self-esteem. What became very clear to me is that I've got to find separation between who I am and the persona of Steve-O. And so in order for me to be like happy and fulfilled in my later years, I knew I had to figure out how to find a life partner who can be by my side as I weather the storm of becoming an aging attention whore.
So was there like a rock bottom in your journey that led you to this realization that you needed to separate Steve-O, the persona, from the rest of yourself?
I would point to the premiere of our second Jackass movie in 2006. We were taking the biggest risks. We were doing the craziest stuff, and everything just worked. It was like just magic. I knew we were never gonna beat that. And I just felt like, whew, it's all downhill from here. And I remember going to that premiere and feeling like I was at my funeral. I stepped onto that red carpet and I was just mad at that red carpet because it was like the end. Like we were all like more out of control with drugs and alcohol and sex than like can even be believed. I had like major trauma around my mom, who had suffered an aneurysm and survived it, but heinously disabled both physically and mentally. And it was like suffering that shouldn't exist. I mean, I just like felt very angry at any God that would allow that to happen. Everything got like tremendously dark. In 1 week, I was arrested for felony cocaine possession. I got evicted. I sent this mass email saying that, you know, Johnny Knoxville better bring a hot tub so I can jump out of this window into the hot tub next door. And if you don't come, then I'm jumping anyway. I'm ready to die. That email qualified me for California's 5150 law, which meant they could lock me up in a psychiatric ward. And that's when Johnny Knoxville and the Jackass guys staged an intervention on me. And yeah, I've been clean and sober ever since then. It's my cool hat from Tony Hawk. My buddy. Can't really describe all of the pain because there was so much of it, but I can say that the solution to my problems I found in recovery. Once I had a foundation in sobriety, I found myself really acting out sexually a lot. I started touring the comedy clubs. So I would do this meet and greet after every show. And that meet and greet was a glorified audition to find a partner to act out with that night. I developed this pattern where I would meet a woman and become infatuated with her. I'd really think, oh, she's the greatest, oh, well, you know, and I would believe that. And I would pour on the charm. And then, like, once she fell for me, then, like a light switch, I would, like, lose interest in her. You know, just ghost. And, like, I would feel so terrible about myself after doing that, because not only was I not treating them the way that I want to be treated, I was actually treating them specifically the way I most fear being treated myself. It was just like using people up and throwing them away. And I knew exactly what a piece of shit I was. It was just an endless cycle of shame. I promised myself I'm not gonna act out anymore. And I just couldn't. I started seeing a sex therapist, and that person ultimately recommended that I go into a outpatient sex addict rehab, and I did that. And the way it works with sex is that each addict will define their own sexual sobriety, meaning that for one sex addict, porn could be perfectly fine, when for another, like, serious no-go. So you make a list of red light behaviors where anything on that list constitutes a relapse. For me, like, massage parlors, super red light. Being in a strip club was red light. You know, I had some starts and stops and some stumbles, but ultimately when I got out of that sex addict rehab, they recommended a period of celibacy between, like, maybe 30 and 90 days. And I was just like, I ended up going 431 days. Because I felt strongly that my mission was to become the man that the love of my life deserves.
We know you're really gripped by the story you're hearing, but we just wanted to interrupt this episode very quickly to tell you a little bit about our incredible sponsor, BetterHelp.
So, Lils, how do you feel about therapy?
I don't know what I would do without therapy. I'm so grateful. I recognize that it's a privilege to have access to therapy, and not everyone does, but thanks to companies like BetterHelp that are offering it at a more affordable rate, I think it's helping revolutionize the space and create way more opportunities for people to access healing, and it's incredible.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, we really recommend that you give BetterHelp a try.
It's entirely online, and it's designed to be super convenient and flexible to suit your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire online, and you'll get matched with a licensed professional therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for any reason if you're not satisfied.
If you want therapy, try BetterHelp today.
Visit betterhelp.com/what'sunderneath for 10% off of your first month. That's betterhelp.com/what'sunderneath for 10% off your first month.
And now back to the episode.
I met Lux on a job. We went on a bunch of dates. We didn't, like, kiss for over a month, and I was, like, fully transparent and explained to her that I was really coming in with a terrible track record for relationships, and, you know, we just did everything correctly.
How long have you been together?
We've been together for approaching 7 years. Never once doubted for a fucking second that I want to be with her.
When was the last time that you, like, made a mistake, like, feel like you caused harm to someone that you love?
I couldn't even believe that I did this too. Like, what a fucking shitty thing. I've got this editor, unbelievably talented dude. His name's Paul Brisky, but he has his, like, music career, and he's just got this, like, wanderlust where he wants to be, like, anywhere in the world except working on my stuff. And so it's like, you know, on top of paying Paul for all of his hours of work, I give him a percentage of my ad revenue from YouTube. You know, I want him to participate in what we're building together. But at a certain point, he's in fucking one country and the next country, and I'm having to work with this other editor, and I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall because this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's a good editor, but he's not Paul. Paul's not even making the video, and he's gonna get the percentage of the AdSense revenue. I'm like, no, I can't do it. And so the next time a commission statement came up from my bookkeeper, I was like, no, we're hacking it. But I didn't tell Paul. I was just like, ah. And like there were so many times it occurred to me, and I just somehow didn't have the balls to tell him. Finally, like recently, I was like, hey dude, I did you dirty. And I made him whole in one lump payment.
Did you say I'm sorry or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want to say I'm sorry because it's more of I want to acknowledge that I was wrong and try to make it right. On our 9th step, where it says we made amends wherever possible, the word amends, it means to fix. Like, it's a huge deal because the overwhelming majority of people, like, will not admit that they were wrong.
Right.
Even when they're so wrong. It's like their ego just refuses to compromise itself by admitting wrongdoing. And that's so backwards because when you do step up and admit that you were wrong, people respect you, man. So it's like the attention whore kid who's like, I'm gonna live forever because I've got rad videos, is still that same attention whore, but he's just kind of learning from that marine biology person, you know? Like taking to heart what that person said that was of tremendous value.
When was the last time you cried?
Man, I wish I knew. I'm not being macho here. I'm trying to pretend like I don't cry all the time, okay? I'm tempted to ask Lux, when's the last time I cried? Am I allowed to do that? Sure. Okay, cool. Hey, babe. Honey, when was the last time I cried?
When Burn passed.
Ah, yeah. My dog Bernie died. I mean, he was just old. But,
The nature of what we do, Hannah. Taking care of babies, it's so awesome and we love it, but then they pass and that fucking sucks.
yeah.
You look so handsome.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Yeah.
You look like you just woke up and you're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Okay.
Love you.
All right. Love you too. Okay.
What is your favorite and least favorite part of your body?
I mean, when I was in my 20s, I had a fucking rad body. I spent so much time doing acrobatics and like, I could like walk up and down stairs on my hands. So I just had like this super toned, like chiseled, muscular physique. I mean, if anything, if I have like body insecurity, it's just comparing to a younger version of me. But you're right, it's silly. You know, I didn't get to where I am because I'm a sex symbol. Like, I've never been a pinup, you know? And then Lux and I had each other to say, stop being mean to the love of my life. Yeah, she'll be mean to herself, and I'll tell her that. Like, you will not treat the love of my life that way. And she'll say that to me too.
Yeah, you can take off your pants.
I definitely get unreasonably self-conscious when I see photos with wrinkles and gray hair, and I struggle with that more than I should. And I think because my identity is kind of tied up in really adolescence. Like I do like silly childish shit for a living, so I feel like for me it's not permissible to get old. All right, how about that?
Iconic.
Why in your body, in your skin, in your journey, why is it a good place to be?
It's great to be in my skin because I don't have any secrets. I like who I am. You know, I'm proud of how I live my life. Yeah, I'm just proud of who I've become. We really have the responsibility to assign to our life meaning, to find something that we're passionate about and pursue it to the point where being in our body is the ultimate privilege.
Tooth?
Yeah. Be careful with that guy. I'm profoundly grateful to have found meaning in my life. Okay, I'm just gonna let it ride right on the floor. About which I'm passionate, and not just pursuing it, but until the fucking wheels fall off. All right, I think we can live with that. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. Incredible. That's so impressive.
Thank you.
Last question. What does it mean to you to be man enough?
I don't know that I assign any particular value to traits, like for men over women. You know, like if you've got integrity, if you're honest and you hold yourself accountable, then no matter who you are, that's the most important thing. That's it. And that's not just male, that's like human.
How do you feel now?
I feel good. I feel like everybody really needs to see how fucking awesome this multimedia comedy special is at stevo.com.
Okay.
Like, hands down,
I cannot wait.
the best fucking thing I've ever made.
Okay.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of What's Underneath Masculinity with Steve O in partnership with Man Enough.
Yeah, dude. And for more episodes just like this, subscribe to StyleLikeU.
And don't forget to click the bell so that you're reminded of every time we drop a new episode. Now we're gonna blow a kiss. You can do whatever you want.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.